Hey guys, it's Paulie with Cool World Photography. Well, we've come upon that day where it's January 9th, well, I'm supposed to narrow this contest down to 3 bands. Let me say, this has been very, very difficult. It's been a challenge because I honestly had a lot of really good bands kind of submit, bands and artists. I started this contest because I've been a part of the local scene here in Central Ohio for many years. I was in a band for 10 years. We toured the country from LA to New York, recorded in several different studios across the country. We split 5.5 years ago, but I've been still doing a lot of stuff on my own since then. And so I still do what I can. I don't get a chance to get out as much these days because I'm always so busy here, whether it's doing some photography or really a lot of video these days. I started this business 12 years ago working with musicians because that's what I knew. And mostly doing promo photos and little things like that. And it blossomed into me having this big studio, and I get to travel around, and I get to work with a lot of really cool people, a lot of cool artists, everything from local artists to national artists. So it's been really great. So I really felt it was that time to kind of give something back. I've always known when you're a musician, your money typically goes 2 different directions. Most of the time it goes to recording, and then if you have the ability, it goes into photos and video. So I wanted to be able to create this and try to be able to give back a little bit. And I'm really glad to see we've had a really good response, online with this. I have had several bands and artists hit me up, more than probably I expected for this first time around. And because of this success, I'll probably do this again next year. I mean, why not? I think the post on Facebook ended up getting, I think it reached over 42,000 people, and it was shared. It was at least shared like 550 times or something like that. So that was great to see that. One thing I was kind of happy about too is that a lot of you played along pretty nicely. In this business, in pretty much any city that you're in, there's always a lot of kind of trash talking or, a lack of support in general with the music community. I don't understand. I mean, we're here to help each other. I mean, we can't grow and move on without each other sometimes, So, but it was nice to see that everyone kind of got along online and stuff like that. So basically the way this broke down is that, you had to do 2 things in order to potentially win this free professional music video from myself. You had to try to share my post on Facebook onto your band page and try to get your fans to comment why they felt you deserved to win. And then B, email me links to your music and your story. The story was kind of important to me. It wasn't the end-all, be-all. And the same thing with the fans. I know some of you are sitting there going, some of you may go, well, we had X amount of fans comment on our page. Look, it's not solely what this is based on. If that were the case, I might as well turn this into a battle of the bands. And let's face it, a lot of the battle of the bands, sometimes they're just not fair. I looked at several different factors. I looked at the music. I did look at the fans. I looked at the support. I tried to dig as deep as I could to look at the passion and the drive and, what is that band or that artist doing? Are they out doing a bunch of shows? Are they out doing something for their community? Anything like that. I really looked at a lot of different things. So I wasn't basing this solely on one thing. And I'm not basing it solely on my taste. My taste is all over the place. I grew up on industrial and punk rock music. Everything from Skinny Puppy, Frontline Assembly, KMFDM, to Minor Threat and Fugazi. But I'm also into like Portishead and Bjork and Tricky, a lot of cool, metal bands and some hip hop bands and some country artists, some folk artists, some blues artists. It's really all over the place. And of course, a lot of rock, a lot of electronic stuff. I mean, I really am. If it's good and it moves me in some fashion, I'm into it. So there was no bias on my end. This contest was great because I got introduced to a lot of new artists that I was not familiar with in the Central Ohio. So that was kind of really cool. And then there were some bands that I was a little familiar with. I tried to do my best to remind some of the bands that if I saw their shared posts and I didn't see the email, I tried to make sure you guys knew that, hey, I hadn't seen the email yet. So I know you guys are probably like, come on, get on with it, man. Just tell us the bands. Sorry, I kind of have to go through all this. I had a very difficult time trying to pick 3 artists. I really did. So I chose 5. Sue me, whatever. It's my contest anyway. No, I did. I had a hard time, so I just chose 5. Now, before I tell you who these 5 artists are, what I'm going to ask if you are chosen. First off, let me say this. I really do want to thank everybody that participated in this and that submitted your music and submitted your stories. There was a lot of really good stuff out there. There really, really was. And you know, I don't have anything bad to say about anybody that sent anything in. It's just very difficult when you have such a plethora of bands that are submitting for this. It's kind of like, how do you choose? So I really sat down here, you know, for several hours today, just trying to figure this out. I mean, it was pretty complicated. But I really want to thank everybody. If you weren't chosen, you know, I really, really do appreciate, you know, the support for the local scene. I appreciate your fans a lot, because a lot of you, you know, there's a few of you that, you know, weren't in this top 5 that really had a lot of local support, and that's great. Keep that going. Keep your drive there. Keep your passion going. You know, with a lot of you guys, you know, I would still love to work with you in some way if that was at all possible. I'm really good about working with bands if they do have a certain budget they need to stick to. I mean, look, let's face it, this is all I do. So I can't always do stuff for free, but I do my best to help other artists out sometimes, because I get it. So for these top 5 bands that I had chosen, I'm going to ask you guys, because I'm not going to pick a winner till the 17th. I'm going to ask that the top 5 bands come to my studio. My studio is just outside of Dublin, Ohio. I'm kind of in between Marysville and Dublin. But what I would like to ask is, at your convenience, is to ask, you know, these bands or artists to come to my studio. I would love to sit down and chat with you, get to know you more, get to understand your story better, and maybe hear some more music, maybe hear some stuff that's not online. Maybe you can tell me about the music. You know, I'd love to hear some stories about the music. And then at that point, you'll come in, and I would like to do a quick video for you guys so you can present online, and I can showcase that. You can put it on your page too, but I can showcase it, get some of these other people to really know who you guys are as well. So, without further ado, these are in no particular order or anything like that. So the first band, and I'm not going to go into a lot of detail of maybe why I chose the band, because I could sit here all day and do it. So I think it's just a little more simpler to just say who it is, maybe the style they do. If you want to check them out, it's not hard to do. Keep in mind, I base these off a lot of factors, so I know I'm going to probably piss somebody off with all this, but hey, you know, I guess that was part of it. It's free, man, you know, it's free. So, all right, so the first band I'm choosing, it's a band called Lackluster. Lackluster out of Columbus, Ohio. Most of these bands are, you know, Central Ohio. That's kind of why I kind of chose them for the most part. I think there was one band that was kind of outside Central Ohio, but Lackluster, really cool. Kind of this alternative electronic pop. I don't even say pop. Just kind of more alternative electronic music. Very dynamic stuff, I think. You know, production sounds really good. So a lot of stuff that I was looking up on these guys, you know, I like. It's really good. So Lackluster, you're in the top 5. This one, I really did I did as much research on this group as I possibly could. And this is one of the groups that had a pretty big fan base. They were really doing their best. The Gods of Chaos. This is when you all cheer. It's like, in NCAA madness, you're trying to figure out if you made the tournament. Rap group out of, Central Ohio once again. I can't remember exactly how many guys are in the group, but a few of them. I've read a lot of stories about these guys. It's kind of interesting what they're trying to do with their small community, and so I kind of get what they're doing. The music itself, there's some interesting things happening as well, but I think there's some potential there. And that's one thing I looked for, obviously, in some of these artists, is I looked to some potential out of them. I'm a pretty good study of a lot of artists, and I have a pretty good sense of who I feel's got talent and maybe who doesn't sometimes, And I'm not going to say any of these have more talent than the others by any means. So the Gods of Chaos, you're in the top 5. Gudger, you're in top 5. Three-piece band consisting of 2 brothers and their dad. I thought that was pretty cool. Rock bass. I think they're out of Lancaster. These are all kind of more of what I call like a hard kind of rock band. A little bit of a desert rock feel in some of it, but they had a lot of support as well. I think they got some good potential as well. So Gudger, you guys are in. Absolute Hero. Absolute Hero is kind of this more of a poppy or punk rock type of band, fronted by a female vocalist. They've got some really good stuff going on as well. I think they have a little more on a commercial line a little bit. Same thing probably with the band that's going to follow. One thing I tried to do too is in all fairness, I tried not to pick, unless I felt I had 5 bands that were all just like, bam, amazing, and they were all the same genre. I was going to do my best to try not to do that. I don't think it would have been fair if I would have chose 5 hip-hop artists, or 5 metal artists, 5 folk artists. And I really did try to do my best to try to be selective and not be too biased. Once again, I like everything. So Absolute Hero, you guys are in. Cool, kind of like I said, poppy, punk, rock type of band. The last band, they're a little outside of Central Ohio, but I didn't want to ignore it. And I couldn't ignore the music. I think, once again, kind of like the last band, I think they have some good commercial potential, some cinematic feel. I Fight Fail. Kind of more of an alternative electronic rock. Seems like they're doing some good stuff. I kind of like where they're going. I like their story. They had a lot of story to share as well. So I Fight Fail's in the top 5 as well. So those are the 5 bands. So I guess congratulations to all 5 of you. I will be reaching out to you guys by email to try to make contact. Once again, I'd like to try to get you guys to the studio so we can try to meet up, do a little bit of video stuff so you guys can share. And then by the 17th, I will have narrowed this down to one band to win a professional music video. So that should be cool. I mean, cool for the band, cool for me. I like shooting music videos anyway. Once again, I really want to thank everybody that really participated in this. I've never done anything like this, and I normally don't even sit in front of the camera, even though I'm always behind it all the time. So once again, I really want to thank all the bands that participated in this. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't have this, and I'm glad I was able to give back. And I would really encourage you guys to do the same thing in any way you can. Maybe have food drives for some of your shows, or just anything that you can do to maybe give back to your community or whatever it is. Support each other. That's the biggest thing. In one of my old bands, we were both guitar players and singers. So the other guitar player singer, I remember one show he had a great idea, and he catered for our show. It was our show, but he catered for the other bands. We spent kind of our own money. Maybe he spent his own money. I don't really remember. But, he catered for the other bands. We brought food for other bands, because we were trying to show support and love for each other. Hang around and watch each other's shows, man. If you're on the bill and you're the opening act, don't leave, man. Like, stay around and watch the other bands. That's part of the support. Be thankful that headlining band put you on the show. Show a little bit of respect, That's really important to us. We're not going to be able to grow as a community if we don't do that. If we don't have respect for each other. So once again, thank you guys, so much. If any of you out there happen to see this and you're just curious to know the things that I do, coolworldphotography.com is where you can go. You can see a lot of different stuff that I do. So feel free to go on there, contact me if you have any questions. Other than that, see you guys soon. Congratulations again to the bands. Lackluster, the Gods of Chaos, Gudger, Absolute Hero, and I Fight Fail. You guys rock.